All right, before we go on too much more, I want to do a little house cleaning. I've decided that in my measure section, I need this to say foundation. So measure, foundation. Remember, this is just a container for our measures. And once you do that, it automatically renames everything, so you don't have to go back through and reconnect. And then I want to get rid of this column right here because that was just the residual column when we created this container. And we just want to make sure that we're keeping everything tidy. We also too want to go back and still do a little bit more housekeeping on our data dashboards. So we see that there's a new hire count by year. This really isn't necessary to have both the count on the sideline. So we want to go into the y-axis and we want to turn off that title. It just kind of keeps it cleaner. We also too want to go back up. Let's go close the y-axis. And we want to go into title. And the title is new hire count by year, which matches new hire count by year. And since there's only 1 year, I'm actually going to just take that off. And then now we can squeeze that over. And it looks like a lot more tidier. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. I'm going to try and take advantage of the format painter to try and not do as much. So you can see it automatically took the y-axis off. And now we just have to go in and make that year, take that year off. And again, we're going to go into the title. And we just want to go in and take that off. And then make that a little tidier. And for my new hire count, I actually like the title to really stand out. So I'm going to go into title and I'm actually going to change the font to white. And I'm going to change the background to black. And we're going to change the font family to Arial Black. And then readjust. So you really can see what you're looking at very, very quickly without a lot of noise. The next thing we want to do is we want to create another card for the terminated average tenure employees. And to do that, we are going to create a very similar measure called active, using the active average tenure. We can take this and we're going to copy it. Now if it's copying, and we're going to go new measure. Okay, and it's using average tenure, which is pulling from all employees. And then we don't want the active employees, we want the terminated employees. So we go there, oh, and it's telling me I forgot to rename my measure. No problem. So where it says active, I'm going to write term, average tenure. And then I'm going to pull in a card, term average tenure. Now this is pulling from all employees that have been terminated. So if you want to see the termination average for just these 17 employees, you just have to click on the bar and it will show you 4.37 years. So we're losing some tenured employees here. Okay, and then now it's time for us to do just a little bit more house cleaning. We want to go to Format Painter and we want these cards to look the same as these. So what we want to do is go back in here, click the tile, We want to click the painter tool. Then we want to click on title. Okay, and you can active employee count. Okay. Shoot. Boop. Okay, and we don't need this to be redundant down here. So what we want to do is we want to take off category for this card visual. So go into category and turn it off. Now you're like, oh, I want that label to be a little bit bigger. So let's go into data label. Make this much bigger. And then we have that. All right, so let's go here. Let's make sure we click on the card. We're on the format painter. We want the category, oh, it's off already because I turned it off on the other one and automatically applied it. And for the title, active average tenure. Okay. So now it's kind of, shaping up. It's looking a little nicer. And then you select the card, painter tool, title, and then we want to put term terminated average tenure. And if that's too long, I'm going to abbreviate. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to import our gender data. So we're going to go back up to the Home tab and select Get Data. And then we're going to select Excel and hit Connect. And then we're going to go into our foundational formatted folder, and we're going to select our gender file, hit Open. And then we are going to select the one that is named gender. Remember, that matches the tab down below that we named in the Excel file. We hit Load. Okay, so you can see that it has been imported and it has the employee ID and the gender information. Now we just want to go over to the model icon. We want to click it, and then we want to look at exactly what it did. And it has connected the employee ID to the employee ID to the employee hire and term dates, which is what we want. Okay, so we have imported our gender information, and now we want to go and make some measures so we can add the male to female count. And so here's our active employee count that we have. And so we are going to take advantage of that, and we are going to, build on that. We're going to select new measure. And then we are going to name it active female count. And we're going to say calculate. And then we want to do active employee count. And then we want to filter by the gender. We want to select the gender file. And then we want to select the gender labels. And then we want to set it to quote female. And this has to be exactly how it's written in the Excel file sheet, so make sure you do that or it won't return what you want. And then end quote, and then end parentheses. So when we go over and we select a new card, and we select active female count, we have 214 active females. So for right here, we go back to our measure active female count, and we just want to take advantage of most of the work that we did here. We want to highlight it, and we're going to copy it, and now we're going to make a male count, active male count. New measure, and then we're going to paste. All right, and yep, you guessed it. We just go in here, we type in male, and it's spelled with a capital M, lowercase a-l-e. Hit return. And again, select our card, active male count. Okay. Now, whatever you have, just make sure you're consistent all the way through your dashboard. If females are on the left side, you always want then females to be on the left side, whether it's a bar chart or whatnot, just to be consistent. Next, we want to create a bar chart that also has the active female and male count on it. And I'm going to show you why I'm doing that. It's basically replicating this after I create it. So if you just bear with me, I'm going to select the clustered column chart. I'm going to select active EE count, and then I'm going to go down to our gender labels, and then I'm going to select gender. And all of a sudden now it is, counting the male and female count. If I go up to our term count right here and select Format Painter, I can select this and it will come in formatted how we want. So you know how I was telling you that the male is now on the left and the female's on the right? Well, we want to match that. So instead of moving everything around, you can just hit sort ascending and it will change it female to male. And that way we have that stable.